Welcome all to Scotch and Smoke Rings. Good to have you on the program today. We are playing more Dahlia View. I'm really getting into the game. I enjoyed what we played last week. It's a good detective game. And I'm really intrigued by the plot. And in particular, the main character. So we have that to look forward to today. But for now, as is always the case here on the program, we've got about an hour-long Q&A. You've got questions, I've got answers. It's time to see what the community is thinking and chatting about all this week. We are live on Twitch, Facebook, Kick, and YouTube. Good to see Wanderer132, Skullwolf 400, Kiergsman, I'm still G Snap on Twitch. Good to see Toby Noble on Facebook, and of course it's wonderful to see all of the regulars and the members and the Patreon supporters on YouTube today. John DeGiamberadino, Alt Grendel, Craig Euler, Wyoming Homesteader, Wade Speakerman, Hellcat, Amanda Peterson, I am G Snap, Rachel Chininator, and it's John M. with the first super chat of the day. Great to see you again, Ox and chat. Thank you, John M., a member for 30 months. Alien Face, a member for 52 months, says, hope you're doing amazing, Ox. It's been a long time. Haven't had time to watch. How are you liking the game you're playing so far? Stay amazing, Ox. Thanks. It's a slow-paced detective game, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I think that what I like most about it is that the puzzles actually make sense. There are so many games, especially horror survival games, and sometimes even detective games like the Sherlock Holmes games, where the mystery they present you with, the resolution, doesn't make sense. No reasonable person would have ever gone in that direction. It's more like the likelihood of finding the solution is like rolling dice or looking it up yourself. But that's not the way this game is so far. So far, all of the puzzles feel real and well written. So I'm really enjoying it. Mark from Sales gifted 10 Oxhorn memberships to the community. Thank you so much, Mark from Sales. And congratulations to Clell Biggs, Justina Joliffe, Heather R., Nuka-Cola Corporation, Ant444, Terry LPS44, Diamond Lion Gaming, Ben Cooling, Preston Alexander, and KT. James 17 says, Cooper Howard's wife Barb is frozen in Vault 31 as one of Bud's buds. She was number 2 to Bud pre-war. Makes sense. But was she? Because we saw a list of names on the registry for Vault 31, and her name wasn't on it. Janie, her daughter, wasn't on it either. It's totally possible that the registry that we saw was not complete. But it's also possible that Barb wasn't destined for that vault. We have to remember that it was for junior executives. Part of the Buds program. Bud Atkins didn't think terribly highly of his buds. He referred to them as children at one point. And Jane Howard was an executive, a high-ranking executive, closer to Bud in authority and prestige than any of the junior executives that were part of Bud's program. So I don't think she's in Vault 31. We find no evidence that she's in Vault 31. And in fact, they give us a clue that she may have even been more important than Bud himself. Because during the big round table discussion at the very end, it wasn't Bud who she was looking at. She didn't look to him for permission to interrupt and to assert herself and to begin the conversation. She looked up. She looked up at somebody who was in a viewing platform overlooking the proceedings, someone who had real power. And that's when she spoke and asserted herself. So It's, of course, anything could happen. Maybe she is in Vault 31, but we have no evidence that she is, and I don't think she is. Alt Grendel says, no jokes for me tonight. I'm not in the mood. Alt Grendel, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're not in the mood. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully your mood will improve as the night goes on. Get something to drink. If you're not a drinker, get something to smoke. If you're not a smoker, burn some incense, maybe. People do that. They burn incense. Or you could, like, flip through a book. Even if you're not reading it, the sound of flipping through a book can sometimes be calming on the nerves. Or open a window, listen to the night, the crickets and the fireflies. Something. But you're here with us, and that's the important thing. I hope your night is better. Alt Grendel. Rachel says, Evening Ox have to enable and let you know that they have Vault-Tec caviar and anti-feral ghoul vial props from the show on Etsy. Of course, you've got to be the one to let me know this. Of course. Well, thank you. I guess I'll look that up later. Thank you, Rachel. Wish You Were Here says, will there be any actual gameplay? Yeah. Toby Noble on Facebook says, any new props or props on the way? If you could make Oxhorn props, what would you have made? A bowler hat, a mic, a cigar, Ox Pip-Boy? I mean, I made an Ox plush. That's the closest thing to a prop I've actually made, I guess. Currently available. Only a few left. Vampiric Jess says, thanks for liking the post I shared with you of my World War II Fallout 4 playthrough and also doing a Vietnam one. Are you regretting that sleepwalking perk yet? I am. I mean, it's fun. The few times it's actually triggered, it has been alarming and fun. But I find myself not wanting to sleep now. Like, even if I'm injured, I find myself double guessing myself. They're just not wanting to sleep, just in case it triggers. Robert Siersma says, thanks for sticking with Fallout London. I love the mix of Fallout content each week. Enjoyed the new Fallout show vid as well. Show vids are getting great views. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I need to figure out more to say about the show. And I do have some ideas. I've got a good list of ideas about the show. The videos about the Fallout show take a lot longer to make due to the nature of the video. I'm only able to use 10-second clips from the show without triggering a copyright issue on YouTube, which means I'm constantly looking for new scenes from the show that makes sense for the narration of that particular part of the video, and, you know, moving things around and reversing video and slowing video down and doing all sorts of things to video to make it so I can actually monetize the video. It takes up an enormous amount of time. But it's always worth it. The videos do very well, and I enjoy them too, so I've got more to make. Siaba says, can we make requests of you, Ox? Or just questions? I mean, it's a free country. You can make requests, but that doesn't mean I'm going to honor them. Like, you can say what you want. Like, make a request, sure, but I'm not promising to fulfill your request. If you're requesting I play a game, I'll add it to the list. How about that? I've got a nice long list of all these wonderful games you guys have given me over the years, and I'll add your game requests to the list. Wade Speakerman says, what do you call an actor without an audience? A waiter. Because he has to wait for the audience to show up, right? Okay. Jared Shover on Facebook says, just wanted to let you know I'm sick and halfway through it, by the way. Though you thought you'd like to know that Starfield Shattered Space is out now. Wondering if you're going to play it. I'd love to play it, but I just don't have the time. Perhaps if my schedule was less full, I would prioritize it. But at the moment, it's not. It's really full, so I can't. But perhaps someday. Hellcat says, no game suggestion this time, but almost a member for 2 years now. That's right, Hellcat, a Silver Ox, has been a member for 22 months. Thank you very much, Hellcat. That Silver Derby is looking good on you, my friend. Alt Grendel says, by the way, I'm enjoying your Fallout London vids. Thank you, Alt Grendel. I'm glad you've been enjoying them. Many more to come. Gamma Armendarias says, good evening, sir. Scary season is coming. Have you considered playing Fears to Fathom games? It looks short and creepy. Hope you're doing well. Oh. It looks good. Released in 2021. An episodic psychological horror game where each episode is a short story narrated by someone who survived. Looks pretty good. Maybe I'll add it to the list. Thank you, Gamma. Kenneth Thornton says, any plans to play the Silent Hill 2 remake? Maybe. I do love games like Silent Hill, so perhaps I shall play it. Cat5 became a Bronze Ox. Thank you so much, Cat5. Ryder Wheeler says, I see you're using a Vault Tech brand microphone. Hopefully it's not feeding us subliminal messages about continuing to watch your amazing videos. No, it would never do anything like that. I promise you this microphone is not part of a Vault Tech experiment. It's not. So you don't need to worry about listening or watching at all. Cleansed in Fire says, don't know if this has come up yet, but God of War Ragnarok is out on PC as of a few days ago. Yeah, I had somebody mention it earlier, and I would love to play it. I would love to play it. But sadly, my schedule does not allow. Mark from Sales says, why did the chicken cross the road? Because... All right, it wasn't that bad. Thank you, Mark from Sales. Not that bad. Urur says, Ox, my friend, did you know that you can't run through a campground? You can only ran through it. Because it's past tense. No, okay. Yeah, that's good. Past tense. Can't run through a campground. It's past tense. Thanks for your attention, he says. Oh, Robert, you never fail to disappoint. Wait, that's not what I meant to say. You never fail to appoint? Shenanator says, hey, Ox and friends. pray for Florida as a Category 4 hurricane Helene is making landfall currently. My cousin lives there. Currently, she's okay. Okay, thank you, Chininator. Yeah, definitely keeping Florida in our minds right now. Thanks for the update, Chininator. We hope your cousin pulls through all right. Wandering Paladin says, hey, Oxhorn, as I got off the graveyard shift this morning, I was wondering where the sun was. Then it dawned on me. Cheers, Ox, says Wandering Paladin. Cheers, Wandering Paladin. Thank you so much. Rachel says, I still think that your internet service provider is actually just Vault Tech, and you're the experiment. Oh, man. I would totally believe it. Yeah, I would totally believe it. Feline Archer on Twitch says, just stopping by to say hi. Have a good stream, Ox. Thank you, Feline Archer. Mallyfrost on Twitch with a smiley face. Thank you, Mallyfrost. Julian Z says, hi, Ox. So good to see you. I'm back from Japan. Had so much fun and turned 30 while I was there. So now I'm catching up on all your vids and streams that I missed. Well, happy 30th birthday. Congratulations on the amazing trip. I hope you had an absolute blast, but it's good to have you back. It's good to see you again. Michael Ewan says, I know they aren't your thing, but what's your perspective on city builders like Frostpunk, Planet Coaster, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 back in the day? I actually like them. I tried Frostpunk and it was too difficult for me. I never could figure out how to survive very long. But I played a one that came out recently called Farthest Frontier, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I played another one that came out recently on Steam called Manor Lords, and I thoroughly enjoyed that as well. So yeah, I do enjoy that genre of game. Clell Big says, how about a game for Scotch and Smoke Rings where possessed cars are chasing you and trying to run you over in the middle of the night? Decimate Drive? Whoa! It's real? February 2024. It's run or die in a killer car-infested city. Dash from dumpster to park bench. And don't make a wrong move. Ice cream trucks, snow plows, and dodgy vans all want you dead. Decimate Drive, an indie game, is terrifyingly fast-paced and drenched in atmospheric horror. I actually think I'd probably really enjoy this. It looks cheesy, but fun. Decimate Drive. All right, cool. Got to add that to the list. Thank you. Grant Haber says, hey, Ox, you hear what happened to the frog? It was so stiff it croaked. So glad I made it to the stream, and I've been playing Empire of Sin. Empire of Sin. That better not be a naughty game. No, it's not. Okay, good. I'm scared. You never know on Steam these days. Mixed reviews came out in 2020, but 1920s Prohibition-era Chicago? Okay, you're going to have to let me know what you think about that, because it looks really good to me. Stephen Choza says, thankfully, I live in the eastern half of Florida. The western half is getting screwed over. Yeah, I saw that from the map. Usually it is the eastern and southern half that gets screwed over this season, isn't it? Or is it usually the western season? No, they usually come up through the Gulf of Mexico, but they also come from the Caribbean sometimes as well, don't they? Anyway, it's terrifying, and I really hope everybody survives and no one gets hurt. Priscilla says, I was recently watching your Tranquility Lane videos. Did you ever get a replica Fallout Boy watch that the Lone Wanderer wears in the simulation? I did. It's on my shelf right now. Somewhere. I may have given it to someone. Oh, no, there it is. Yep, it's right there on that shelf, which you can't see. But I did get a replica watch. It's an official prop, too. Bethesda sold one for a while. Samurai Ravon says, Evening Ox, don't know if it's been addressed yet, but you can't hit the ladybugs with VATS because they're lucky. No. What? Also, you should always shoot the legs on glowing ghouls first. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I know about the legs with ghouls. I've been doing really good about that. But the ladybugs are lucky? That's why I can't hit them in vats? Wow. I didn't realize that. I even have the lucky charm. Remember, I got the lucky charm by doing that vagabond quest. So my luck isn't that bad, but I can't hit ladybugs in vats. With my sniper rifle, I can't hit hardly anyone in vats. Wow, luck is a very powerful stat in the mod. Zarteth says, give Copycat a try and bring the tissues. I don't know. Recently released, September 19th, 2024, a poignant narrative-driven game about rejection, belonging, and the meaning of home. It follows the story of a newly adopted shelter cat whose space in the home is taken by a copycat. Bring the tissues. Look, I'm glad they're telling us up front that it's a bit of a tearjerker. But I don't want to do that. Like, if I have a choice going into it, I don't want to play a game that's going to make me cry. No, I think I'm good. I'm all right. Cat's Paw on Twitch says, one of my guinea pigs died on Sunday. Your streams make me feel better. Thanks for being here in my time of grief. Cat's Paw, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. I'm glad you're here with us today. I'm glad you've got an entire community here that can be with you tonight while we hang out together, drink, and play games. DJ Evisceration says, evening, Ox, what's your favorite barbecue? Ribs? Brisket? It's so hard because bad ribs are awful. Like, there's nothing worse than smelling this wonderful smell, if I could smell, of barbecued ribs, and then you get it and they're tiny or they're tough or they're mostly bone and gristle. I hate those. But the ones that are done right, where there's plenty of meat on the rib and you lift up the bone and the meat just falls off because it's cooked so well and it's just slathered in barbecue, oh, that's so good. But brisket is hard to get wrong, too. So, I don't know. Tough call. Walkerson says, hey, Ox, if you get a chance, check out the excavation of Hobbs Barrow. Could be a great fit for a Scotch and smoke rings. Excavation of Hobbs Barrow. I mean, it sounds interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember having this one recommended. So it looks interesting, but it's a sprite-based game, you know. That doesn't necessarily make it bad. Well, I mean, the art looks really good. For a sprite-based game, it looks really well done. And it definitely looks sufficiently creepy. All right. I've got it high on the list here. High on the list. Mr. Virus says, cheese got blown. Found stinkin' bishop under brie. I can't tell if that's dirty or not. I mean, it sounds dirty. But I'm not able to piece together why at the moment. Thanks, Mr. Virus. Rachel says, are you watching Rings of Power? No, I'm avoiding it like the plague. I've just heard such bad things, and I've seen enough about Galadriel to realize that they don't understand who Galadriel was. And they gave a personal, they gave a bodily personification of Melkor. Which, I mean, I realized going back into the Silmarillion, there was a time. It's just, I can't buy that actor as Melkor. He doesn't, and it's not that he's charming. I get that the physical embodiment of Melkor should be charming, right? Because he was a deceiver and he charmed people, and that's how he got the rings forged and convinced the elves and men to wear them. I get it. He had to have charm. But that's not the issue. The actor that they chose isn't selling it for me. And Galadriel isn't the cruel, awful leader that she's portrayed in the Rings of Power. So I haven't watched any episodes. I'm not going to. I'll stick with reading the Silmarillion. Priscilla says, Ox, you having every replica makes me so happy. Thank you, thank you. One of these days I will go through each piece individually. No time right now. Priscilla says, please avoid Rings of Power like the plague. I will. I am avoiding it like the plague, and I intend to continue to do so. Cheers. Rachel says, but Tom Bombadil finally got his day on screen. I've never gotten the love for Tom Bombadil. I get that there are people who love him and the Green Lady or whatever. He's apparently an important part of the mythos of that world. I mean, even Saruman talks about Tom Bombadil, right? But he doesn't make sense in the narrative of The Lord of the Rings. Like, he doesn't fit in that story. And I think Peter Jackson and, what was her name? Priscilla Bowles, I think her name was. The writers and the directors for The Lord of the Rings movie. They captured it correctly in the DVD extras when they explained why they didn't include Tom Bombadil in The Lord of the Rings. And they didn't include Tom Bombadil in The Lord of the Rings because in the book, Bombadil takes the Ring of Power and he puts it on his finger. And it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make him invisible. He laughs and then tosses it back to Frodo. Here, Tolkien has set up a narrative where you've got this evil ring of power, the one ring to rule them all. And he goes into this elaborate, centuries-spanning, millennia-spanning story about how the ring was crafted and how it was used to enslave elves and men, and how it's such a threat to mankind. And we've seen Gollum or Smeagol, and we've seen what it's done on an individual level to a person, and we've seen Bilbo react to it and how it's harmed him and also charmed his life in such a way. And it has such power that they've taken great care to demonstrate, that Tolkien has taken great care to demonstrate. And then in this one scene, out of nowhere, along the journey, they just so happen to stumble upon this magical house with a magical man and a magical lady, right when they need a place to stay, right when they're all really hungry, and they just so happen to have lots of wonderful food, and he just so happens to be this crazy, powerful creature that has been around longer than almost anyone, and, oh, by the way, is also immune to the charms of Sauron, and can't be touched by the power that even Gandalf was afraid of touching? Like, what? So for me, Tom Bombadil has never made sense within the narrative of The Lord of the Rings. And that's why they didn't include him in the movies, because it pulls the rug out of the entire narrative that Tolkien was trying to establish when he set up the awfulness of the ring, demonstrating why it needed to be destroyed. Then again, Tolkien's a genius, right? And so he had his reasons. So who am I to second guess Tolkien? It's just that for me, I've never really understood Tom Bombadil, and I'm okay with him not ever appearing on screen. That's where I'm at. Mr. Virus says, Ox didn't get the joke. It's all cheese. Bree, stinking bishop. No, I didn't get the joke. What's a bishop? Are you talking about chess? Or is this some sort of comment about the clergy? And what does that have to do with cheese? Wade Speakerman says, how many quarters does it take to play the Lord of the Rings pinball game? None. It takes Tolkien's. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that one. None, it takes Tolkien's. Alt Grendel says, Tolkien said that he's Tom Bombadil and his wife is Goodenberry. Really? Did he say that? Okay, that would make more sense. But why would he write himself into the fantasy novel? Did he really say that? That surprises me. That seems like something that he wouldn't do. Who writes himself into his epic fantasy novel? All that does is undermine the integrity of the world you're trying to create. Why would you do that? Did he really say that? Tom Bombadil suddenly makes a little bit more sense, but it seems like a weird thing to do. I would never do something like that. But then again, I'm not a genius writer like Tolkien. Preston Garvey says, since none of you want to fulfill your title as general and help the settlements, I'm going to call in backup Beetlejuice. Thank you very much, Preston Garvey. Ian Kenny says there must always be someone who can resist. Hey, Tom B. Well, yeah, that's the point of the book. That's the point of the Lord of the Rings. That the hobbits resisted. That it seduced men. It seduced Boromir. It tried to seduce the Maiar. It tried to seduce Gandalf. But the hobbits resisted. The plain, simple hobbits resisted and succeeded even when it cost them greatly on a personal level. Of course they got to resist, but Tom Bombadil didn't have to resist. Tom Bombadil was immune. It took no strength of character for Tom Bombadil to resist the lure of the ring, which is why he's such a strange character and why he's so odd. He doesn't fit where he was placed, in my opinion. Tony Frank says technically Tolkien would have been the character of Eru Ilúvatar since he's the creator being of the Tolkien's universe. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna if you're gonna create this expansive story, and you're gonna put yourself in the novel, you would be Ilúvatar. You don't turn yourself into a poorly defined character that the heroes of the book happen to stumble upon. Oh, and also he's immune to all ills, right? It's Ilúvatar was the godlike creature of the universe who created the songs that wove the universe into existence. Clearly, the songs are the words that Tolkien used to weave the world into existence. So Tolkien is Ilúvatar to a certain extent. Anyway, but we have to remember that it's not an allegory. Tolkien famously said that he doesn't believe in allegory. It was one of the things that he criticized C.S. Lewis about, even though he had great admiration for C.S. Lewis. He criticized the allegory because he always felt that allegorical storytelling was cheap storytelling because it limits you as an author. If you feel like you're constrained to tell a story within the bounds of the allegory you're trying to achieve, then it limits the creativity that you can express. Because what if you come up with an idea that doesn't quite fit in with the analogy that you're trying to make? You don't use that idea, which means you're less creative in your art. That ultimately is what Tolkien was trying to explain, which is why The Lord of the Rings isn't an allegory. It's not an allegory about World War I. It's not an allegory about World War II. It's not an analogy of Christianity or anything like that. It was pure, pristine fantasy, just creativity from the mind of a genius. If it was anything, it was his attempt to create an alternative mythology for England, which he felt didn't exist. He felt the Arthurian myths were a Norman... they were borrowed from the Normans. It was more akin to French myths than British. So he sort of disowned them, and he wanted to create his own English mythology. So he invented something from scratch. Which, of course, is why he's a freaking genius. His Divine Shadow says J.R.R. Tolkien confessed Bombadil was always hard to justify. Did he? Did he really confess that? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that if I were him, but that's just me. Robert says, sorry about that earlier joke, Ox. By the way, what do you call an apology with dots and lines? A remorse code. Well done, Robert. Willie Finball says, can you possibly give us your best Vault Boy thumbs up impression? How's that? Alt Grendel says, yeah, he did in a letter. Also, Tom Bombadil was created by the Discord that happened during the creation song. I guess part of the positive counter harmony to Melkor's song. Was it? Was he? Oh. He was born from the Discord? Interesting. Okay. I didn't know that. Wade Speakerman says, why don't hobbits ever become boxers? They tried to destroy the ring. Why did the Hobbit read a book 100 times? It was Hobbit forming. All right, we're getting all of the Lord of the Rings jokes in now. Thanks. Keep them coming. Kenneth Thornton says, here's a new game recommendation, Hollow Body. Perfect for Scotch and smoke rings. Hollow Body, 9 out of 10 on Steam, 4.4 out of 5 on GOG.com. A tech noir survival horror short story set in the urban decay of a long-abandoned British city. Solve environmental puzzles, manage limited resources, and fight for a way to escape beyond the wall. Hollow Body. I feel like we just played a game like that. Nobody Wants to Die. Wasn't that kind of tech noir? A tech noir game. Contains scenes of explicit violence and gore. Okay, no nudity. That's good. I mean, it looks good. It looks interesting. I think I'd like it. Chuck Witten says, greetings, Ox. I'm currently on an Amtrak train from Colorado to Reno, 19 hours in all. Have you ever, or would you ever, like to travel by rail? You seem like a man who would. Is that the kind of man I seem? I like train travel. But I don't travel for the pleasure of travel. I think there are some people who derive great pleasure in traveling for the sake of travel. And I'm more of a person who travels to reach the destination. Traveling is just the thing that you gotta go through to get to where you wanna go. So the journey isn't as pleasurable for me as reaching the destination. So a train, as romantic as riding a train would be, would probably bore me very, very quickly. That said, I have been on some amazing train trips in the past, but I've also been on trains that have been stalled, right? And you're stuck there for hours, and you literally can't do anything when that happens. So. Probably not. Ranker1138 says, any plans to return to some weekday streams? Also, just a helpful reminder to never yell into a colander. It'll strain your voice. Thank you, Ranker1138. I have no plans to start up my regular weekly streams again. I may have a special sponsored stream happening next week or the week after that. Can't go into details at the moment, but it may happen in a couple of weeks. And if it does, I'll let everybody know on Twitter with plenty of time beforehand so that we can all enjoy it together. Zarteth says, I'd make a Lord of the Rings joke, but I'd have no idea what I'd be Tolkien about. Wonderful, Zarteth. Love it. Jared Shover says, you know what, Ox? I can't blame you. The Ring of Power is a horrible TV series. What they did to the show is a crime. Yeah. I'm so sad that that's the reality. And it would drive me crazy to watch it. So I'm not going to do that. All right, we got 20 minutes until the game begins. Tony J, you're too smart for your own good. "20 minutes and we dive back into the game. Urubber says, Rings of Power is fine. You just need to know that it's an adaptation. They don't have the rights to the story and have limited material they're allowed to reference. Then don't tell the story. Make up a new story. They're only trying to tell a Tolkien story because of the name of Tolkien, because of its association with blockbuster, Oscar-winning films. They're doing it for the money, which of course they're doing it for the money because it's an industry. But from a creative perspective, if you're going to fundamentally change the story to such an extent that it's unrecognizable as the story it's supposed to be, then just make your own story. You can do that. You can make your own fantasy world. Anyone can make their own fantasy world. You want Galadriel, instead of being a, resplendent, almost goddess-like elf and otherworldly person with dignity and nobility and beauty. You want to turn her into a warrior who doesn't care about her own people and has a lot of really awful character flaws? Then just make up another character and set that other character in your own little world instead of Tolkien's world, where there's already a character who has a personality that isn't the one you're trying to make a video about. But they're not going to do that because the name Tolkien brings in too much money. Which is why they're doing what they're doing. And that bothers me. Chuck Wynn says, I'd tell you an aviation joke, Ox, but I think you'd find it plain boring. I don't mind planes. I like planes. Chris Tidwell says, when blowing smoke rings, Ox, what figures do you make? Lol, can't wait for more wheelchair. Well, I mean, sometimes I do a figure eight. Sometimes I make an infinity symbol. Sometimes it's a pulsing motion. It changes depending on the needs of the smoke sculpture. Kunk says, would you ever make a movie out of your novel if you could with AI in, say, 10 years? Maybe. That'd be fun. Ching Yang says, I don't understand why you like Parker Quinn. I just like the way he talks. As a person, I don't like him. He's a grifter, but he's ridiculous because he's so out of place. He's a grifter trying to sell you a charge card in Boston 200 years after an apocalypse. And on some level, it's so ridiculous that you just have to admire the audacity. I don't think he's a good or noble person, but he's funny, and that's why I like him. Charge card. All the merchants in the Commonwealth take the charge card. He's great. Time Warper 9000 on Twitch says the sad part is if they did make a new story and added their politics to it, it'd be really good and slow to make money, but it would eventually. It's the arrogance that's killing Hollywood right now and the using of IPs. It's frustrating because on one hand, there are a lot of people in Hollywood who are trying to make original stuff. And sometimes that stuff does really good, like, Stranger Things, and what was that South Korean thing or whatever? Every now and then something unique and new does really, really well. But oftentimes, new stuff, new ideas, just bombs. It's frustrating because I get where Hollywood is coming from. People like what they already like. And they want to see what they already like. So if they want to make money, they need to make videos, they need to make movies about things people already like, which is why they go after established IPs and try to turn books into TV shows and try to turn games into TV shows because they need to give people things that they already like, which blunts the creativity of Hollywood, and it means that we have less new, unique art out there. But it's also an industry. Like if people didn't need to worry about making a living from that industry, then it might be different. But that's not the reality of the world within which we live. Squid Games, yeah. Never seen it. I just know it was really big a couple of years ago. Priscilla became a bronze ox. Thank you so much, Priscilla. Toby Noble says Ox needs to make a Fallout Christmas album. The Christmas for Geeks album is a staple in our house for Christmas. Toby Noble, thank you so much. Yeah, I should probably come up with a sequel, huh? I used all of the good Christmas carols. I used all the good ones. So, I don't know. I'd have to find new Christmas songs to do. Alt Grendel gifted 5 Oxhorn memberships to the community. Thank you so much, Alt Grendel. Congratulations to Merdin Philippe, Cat's Paw 79, The Dark Clarine, Garg Dargus, and Jessica P. Tony Frank says, even George R.R. Martin spoke about this recently, saying that many quote-unquote new writers are so arrogant that they think they can do better than the source material. And it is incredibly frustrating. And yet, sometimes the source material is really arrogant too. Looking at you, George R.R. Martin. He used the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory specifically in his post, the one that you're referring to, Roald Dahl. And that mention, the reason he mentioned Roald Dahl is because the filmmakers for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory took some liberties with the movie. Not huge ones, just minor ones here and there. And his thinking is that the original source material was such genius that if you're going to be making a movie about it, you need to stick to the original source material instead of changing it. But people also haven't made a video about the sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. And there's a reason for that. It's because it was an awful book. Roald Dahl saw the success of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and decided to capitalize on that by making a sequel, and the sequel was awful. I read it to my kids, and we all thought it was just atrocious. So, no, the source material is not always genius. And I think another good example is it's on the. I can't believe I'm not remembering the name. I streamed the entire game. It's the zombie apocalypse game with the guy and the kid, and they turned it into an Amazon show. What was it freaking called? It's not Left 4 Dead. It started The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a great example because the filmmakers did a really good job being true to the source material in The Last of Us when the source material was good. And the source material was mostly excellent. Mostly. But they allowed themselves the creative freedom to make minor tweaks only if it benefited because they were competent enough as storytellers to understand when that was appropriate. For example, having the mycelium communicate long distances underground. That was never in the game. Like, as one giant organism that could travel underground and then wake up zombies as needed, that wasn't exactly specified in the game. But it was a brilliant idea, and it was excellently portrayed in the show in the first season, and it explained why certain things happened the way that they did, so that even the writers of the game came out and said, I wish we had thought of that. That was a great idea. Then there was the episode about Bill. And in the show, I don't want to give you any spoilers, but in the show, they completely changed the story of Bill. Bill was the guy, if you remember, that he needed to get a battery from for his car. And they completely changed his story. And I remember as the episode was airing, I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't like the game. This isn't like the game. And it was starting to piss me off. But then the episode continued, and it was so well told that by the time it was over, I didn't care. I was like, this is such a good story. I don't care if it's not identical to the way it was told in the game. It's a great story on its own. Bill's story in the game was also well done, but honestly, I had more empathy towards the Bill of the show than I ever did towards the Bill of the game. And that's because the story was so well done. So we have to be careful because we can't be purists, right? We can't say that storytellers can't change source material ever, because sometimes it is a positive change, like the examples that I just made. But the problem is that when you get incompetent people who don't understand the source material to begin with, who just start making up stuff because they think that the success that they're enjoying having made a show based on exceptional source material somehow has anything to do with them. And that's the problem that we found with The Witcher. It had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with the charisma of the actors, with the work of the people on the show, and the brilliance of the original source material, which of course is why when they strayed from the source material, it just became a crap show. But when you get competent people who are good storytellers themselves and who have reverence for the original source material, when those kind of authors choose to make creative changes, it's almost always for the betterment of the art. And in those situations, I don't mind. Brandon Beltfed says, why does the mermaid wear seashells? She outgrew her bee shells. Cheers all. Thank you, Brandon Beltfed. Imagine being a mermaid with double D shells. Yikes. Would you even be able to swim, or would you constantly float to the surface? That'd be a danger, wouldn't it? Jake Ben says, good evening, Ox, and all on chat. Long time no see, old friend. Good to see you, Jake Benz. So good to see you, my friend. Chuck Wynn says, after the lukewarm reception Starfield received, are you worried Fallout 5 might be underwhelming compared to the previous games? I am a little worried about that. I'm not exceptionally worried, mainly because they've already nailed a winning formula with Fallout. And all they got to do is stick with that winning formula. And it's going to be a good game. Now, I already know that no matter what game they produce, that they eventually call Fallout 5, people are going to hate it. I already know that, based on the reception to Fallout 4, based on the partially justified reception to Fallout 76. I already know that people are going to search for reasons to hate it. They're going to hate it just because Bethesda made it. They're going to hate it just because it was made using the creation engine. They're going to hate it for its own sake. And they're not going to judge the art based on its own merits. There will be people who do that. They're going to be all over YouTube. They're going to be capitalizing on it by making video after video after video saying, Bethesda failed again, and Fallout 5 is utter trash, and here's why. I know it's going to happen. We all need to be prepared for that because it's an industry on YouTube to make video content like that because people eat it up and you make money. That said, Starfield does concern me. What happened with Starfield goes beyond just YouTube hate. It goes beyond just the prejudice that so many gamers have against Bethesda. There really were some bad narrative choices with that game, which I went over and I talked about as I played that game. There really were bad gameplay decisions with that game as well. So I am a little worried in that respect, but you never really know. I have hope, and they've got a winning formula, and as long as they stick to that, I think Fallout 5 is going to be just fine. Samurai Ravan says, a human and an elf and an orc walk into a bar. The hobbit laughs and walks under it. All right, I'll give it to you. Also, for your information, it's pronounced Ravan like 7. Oh. Samurai Revan. Well, why don't you spell it like 7? There's an A in there. I thought you wanted the A to be pronounced by like an A. No, it's 7? Revan? Samurai Revan? Okay. Play on! Almost game time. It is almost game time. Jake Ben says 2 peanuts were walking down the street. One was assaulted. Very well done. 2 minutes. Winter Steel says Bethesda already made a statement claiming people won't like the new Elder Scrolls 6, and that's not true. They didn't release a statement. It was one of the producers of it was doing an interview, and he bemoaned that the expectations that people have for Elder Scrolls 6 are impossible to fulfill. And that one quote has been twisted by every drama tuber on YouTube. Because they make money doing it. It's an industry. Bethesda didn't say that everyone's going to hate the Elder Scrolls 6. They simply said that people's expectations for the game are impossible to fulfill. And that is true. That is true. People, there's a reason they've been remaking Skyrim over and over and over again and launching it on every single platform known to man because it's a winning game and it's a beautiful game and people love the game, and if they were to come out with another game, it's going to be compared to Skyrim and possibly unfairly so, right? Whatever they create, it will be compared to the success, the almost viral success that Skyrim enjoyed, and it will inevitably be negatively compared to that. Is it possible for them to ever make a game that meets or exceeds the expectations people have for the Elder Scrolls 6? I don't know. And that's the concept that he was trying to convey. That's all he was trying to say. Cheng Yang says, I was so confused about Frederick Sinclair that he's the founder of Sierra Madre. Even his stand said Big Mountain. Yeah, I'm also very confused about that as well. I haven't mentioned that yet in a video. I probably should. But not only does Frederick Sinclair from the show not look anything like Frederick Sinclair from the games, a man whose face we know, having seen it all over the Sierra Madre, but Frederick Sinclair of the Sierra Madre worked with Big Mountain, but that doesn't mean that he was a representative for Big Mountain. He worked with Big Mountain. He got the suits that he put all of the workers in from Big Mountain, which eventually turned into the Ghost People. But he wasn't from Big Mountain, so I'm not exactly sure what the showrunners were doing there. Is it the same Frederick Sinclair, or is it just a coincidence? I guess they'll have to explain in season 2. Jake Ben says, did you hear about the storyteller passed away? I did. This was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? I did hear briefly on Twitter, I think it was, that he did pass away. And my condolences to his family and to everyone who loved his content. It's a great shame. Priscilla says, I've been watching your videos for years and I'm glad to be part of the community. Everyone is so kind and amazing here. I really do have the best community ever. I'm so lucky in that regard. Thank you very much, Priscilla. All right, let me get Steam up here and let's try the game. Yay, I don't have to download an update. Hold on, there's an update for the casting of Frank Stone. Hotfix update. Fix to crash during game launch. Yay. Okay, that was my problem with the casting of Frank Stone. So after we finish Dahlia View, maybe we'll try the casting of Frank Stone. But for right now, we're doing Dahlia View. Nuka Tom with a very generous super chat says, tonight on Scotch and Smoke Rings, our narrator makes contact after a series of misadventures involving a stuffed bird and 13 beats that lead me to Guantanamo Bay. The nights are cold and my cellmates are colder. Who knows if I'll survive? Stay tuned for more on Scotch and Smoke Rings. Is that the game we're playing tonight, Nuka Tom? If so, I think I missed a chapter. Jake Ben says, chat's still waiting on the Oxhorn body pillows, Ox. I'm afraid chat might have to wait for, well, how long is forever? That's right, forever. Just might. All right, let me turn out the lights. Why does it do that? Every time I launch this game, it opens Steam VR. But this is not a VR game. I don't understand why it does that. All right, let me get the lights. Okay, let's resume. Now, we had just started another chapter. And we have to investigate the landlord. Continue.
Harold Levy is leaving his flat. My patience is paid off.
Okay, so just before we logged out last week, we took our camera out and we observed quite a number of clues, including a key that's taped to the back of a pot, I think it was, a pot in the kitchen. And there was another key that was on the side of a door or something like that. Let's see, has our flat changed at all? I don't see anything new. All right, let's head that way. Do we have to explore our flat every time? Every time we get a new case, just in case there's something new? I hope not. There's the daughter. Hope her investigation is going all right. Well, how are we going to get in there? That's the thing. Let's try the front door, I guess.
The place seems empty enough. Now to find a way into Levy's garage.
Cat 5 says, for the stamps, Ox. Yes, we shall do this for the stamps.
Charlotte May's home. She's counting on me. I won't let you down.
We'll find the kid. Don't worry. Let's go down this alley first. Ooh. Hello. Well, if we open the garage door, that's going to make an awful racket, won't it? But then again, he's not here, but the neighbors will hear. Let's see if I can access this door.
Well, I'm not getting in this way.
No. Looks like I got to open the garage.
Now, I'd better get inside before my neighbor sees me.
Guess I can't close the window. Right. Let's investigate. What clues will we find? Let's start with the boot of the truck. Nope, can't. Oh, this wheelchair, man. This wheelchair is driving me crazy. I'm just going into every wall. Why? Yeah, why do I have to be a wheelchair detective? Yeah.
What is that smell? Damp, I think.
Got some dry rot. Got some mold going on here.
Toys. Why does Harold Levy have them?
Any inscription? Nope, those are the only toys I can play with. Motor oil. The ball is the only one. Which makes me wonder if there's something here. But I don't see anything. Okay. Well, we're not getting a lot from the garage just yet. Let's see if we can get into the rest of the flat from here. Okay, reception. Bulletin board. Gauchos, 50th, 24th September. Missing Bodie and Sons, Hopewood rope repairs. And that's it. Oh.
Mr. Levy? Oh, there's Harold's mail. I can't get to it from this side. Is anyone home? Good. Locked from the other side.
Ooh, there's a hose in the back there. Okay. Before going in the elevator. Oh, that's a dead end. Okay.
I'm sure this is the hallway to Levy's flat. Let's hope he's still out.
Furniture.
He clearly doesn't want anyone renting too close to home.
Ooh, a stamp. I see a stamp. Aha. Take stamp. All right. Anything else? Nope. Kevin H. became a bronze ox. Thank you, Kevin H. And that's a dead end. There's the pot. And there's the key on the pot. Aha! Got the key. Which key opens everything downstairs, I wonder? Oh crap, we can't leave now that we've entered. Okay. What do we got? Note. Note from Harold's lady friend. Every time you have a meeting with Frank, you leave me alone up here for ages. Can you at least get a new radio so's that I have something to do whilst I wait? Better still, you could spend a little time the little time we have with me. What are you doing with him, anyway? What was in the van the other night? You're far too secretive, you know. Girls like me need a good pampering every now and again. I think you should buy me something expensive to say sorry.
Harold Levy has a lady friend.
Dear God. Possible evidence found. New bio entry. Harold Levy. Harold appears to be courting a younger lady. That must be who the key was left for. Eviction notice. Let's read it. Dahlia View Heights. Notice non-payment of rent. Eviction notice. Tenant of blank. Dahlia View Terrace. You're hereby informed that you are over blank pounds in past due rent and late charges. You must pay the due amount by blank, or you will be required to vacate your property by blank. Landlord signature. Okay, so this is it's a note that he'll fill out as necessary. New bio entry. Harold Levy owns many properties in Dahlia View and is willing to use his power against people. Kevin H. became a bronze ox. Thank you, Kevin H.
This is where I watched Harold from my window. I hope none of my neighbors are watching me.
Corned beef. Can't go any further. There we go. What's this? Well, they always give me a sink with taps, which never do anything. Okay.
Someone's showering. I'd better be quiet.
Whoops. Oh, does that mean the lady friend is here? Crap.
Might be important. You never know.
I've had to leave early. A shipment of parts has come in from down near Pinwheel, and I have to be there to load it in. Sorry about last night. I know I can lose my temper. It's not your fault. Stay for a while if you like. Just don't touch the radio. It's stuck on that channel. Keys are in the usual place. Don't let anyone see you. H. P.S. If you see me and Frank about, just keep your distance and leave us to it.
Interesting.
Is that blood on the radio? Coat hanger. Take coat hanger. Lipstick. Blue mist perfume. Cigarettes. Ovation cigarettes. And money. Can I pick up each individual coin? I can. Is it necessary? I don't know. Okay, well, I got a coat hanger. Probably shouldn't knock on the bathroom door.
Harold would have had a good view of Charlotte May playing in the courtyard from this balcony.
Lady friend's in the shower.
He must have moved the box somewhere else.
Crap. New clue. Investigate the box under
I need
Harold's
to know
bed.
what's so important about the box I
It's
observed.
been moved somewhere else.
Might be valuable evidence.
Earring. A pearl earring. Only one of them, though. I can't take it. And I can't open that. Toxic Sean says, hello, Oxhorn chat. Loving this game so much more than the previous one. Ha ha. Ending last game was weird. I've started watching all of your 76 beta videos. Thank you, Toxic Sean. Had a blast with that. Arthur Morgan says, Ox, you should try one of the Batman Arkham games. I've heard great things. I probably should. Okay, that leaves over here.
Let's see if I remember how to do this.
Oh, man. What? It's not giving me any instructions. There we go. Oh. Do I gotta solve the maze? What? What? This is the most obtuse lock-picking mechanic I've ever encountered in any game. What does this mean? T hold. Okay, so I follow the maze until it gets here. Then it stops. I can't move any further to the right. I can only go up and down. Okay, I can wiggle it a little bit. Okay, I can wiggle it a little bit. All right. But then I hold T and it does that. Oh my God. I don't know. Guys, what am I doing wrong? Okay, if I hit a white wall, it eventually errors out and turns red. I've got those 2 dashed lines above me, but I don't know what they're supposed to do. If I don't hold T, I eventually get to a section that I can't move past unless I wiggle. If I wiggle like this, I can get back there, but only to a certain extent. Okay, hold T. And then I release it and it goes back there. Right. I don't know. Like, that's beyond me. I'm so confused. Get it within the lines on both layers, maybe? Within the lines on both layers. It's not, I don't think it's working correctly. And I can't go out. Am I stuck? Am I stuck because this freaking lock-picking mini game is so poorly designed? Key doesn't work. Chris Tidwell says you have to find the sweet spot on both circles where the cursor turns white, not red. The cursor is white. Oh, that did something. That did something. That was the first time that it didn't go sideways. Oh, now it did it. Okay. So that wasn't it. Do I have to find my way back? Is it like a memory game? Because it's not giving me instructions on how to do this. While holding T, click around the circle to find the sweet spot. Okay, hold T. Oh. Oh, it unlocks a new map. Hold J. Oh. Hold X.
Still got it.
That was the worst lock-picking mechanic ever. That was awful. Clueless and Callie says enable no high accuracy input. It apparently controls the lock-picking aspect. Thank you, Clueless and Callie. I may have to do that. It just wasn't intuitive. Like, they didn't give you enough information to figure out what you're supposed to do.
Finally. Time
Harold's
to take a look
box.
inside.
Manager's information. Take paperclip.
Might make a good lockpick.
Note.
I'm curious to see what was left in his office.
I know what you've been doing. Saturday in blacktop taxi, 9:17 p.m. Blue road car with top bit removed. 12:41 a.m. Thursday in brown van, 9:31 p.m. Yellow van with wood panel, 11:52 a.m. out. Okay. Sunday in green motorcycle with sidecar and silver exhaust, 10:05 p.m. out. Green motorcycle, no sidecar, black exhaust, 1:23. You're a liar and a thief. Did you take Charlotte May too? You can destroy this if you like. I've made copies. P.S. There's something in your office. You don't believe me. If you don't believe me. A threatening note. You're a good man, Levy. You got me out of a jam. I remember these things. I'll be back for the stuff soon. I'll be in touch. Frank. Rent due per fortnight, Theodore and Annabelle McKee, £0 until further notice. Theodore and Annabelle, £0 until further notice. Beverly Ridge, £4. Robert Conway, £4. First strike for late rent. Anthony Morgan, £5. Simon Deering, £4. Second strike for late rent. L.B. Jeffries, £3. Sebastian A. Paul, £4. Third strike for late rent evicted. So they get evicted after 3 strikes. Why don't they charge... Why doesn't he charge Theodore and Annabelle rent? Could they be the ones blackmailing him about something? That's interesting. All right. Well, I can't put the lid back. I need to get to his office. Okay.
Now then, let's see what's been left in Levy's office. It must have something to do with him attacking Mr. Morgan.
Well, I guess I got to go through that door. Oh. Really? Oh, come on. Okay. Well, once you get it, you get it.
There's Levy's office. It looks like he's still out of the building.
Back in Levy's garage. Toxic Sean says, hope you and the family are doing well, my friend. I'm working today and earning holiday pay. Woohoo! Some moolah for your scotch and cigars. Cheers, buddy. Thank you. Speaking of which, time for another cigar. Singeferno says, remember, Ox, Anna has been meeting up with Mr. H behind her husband's back. Oh.
Oh, seems to open the window up top there. That smell again. The damp is even stronger in here.
Broken part.
Now, what's this? Wouldn't happen to be what caused the flood, would it? Levy, please don't have taken Charlotte May.
Well, well, well. Blue paint of some sort.
What on earth is that? Looks important. The police have searched here. I wonder if Catherine was with them.
Is that a note in a bottle? There's the note right there. I need to get in there. Huh. Well, maybe we'll find a key
There's Harold Levy's office.
in Levy's office. Jeff Day says, speaking of cigars, what kind of extractor do you use for your office? Thanks for all you do, Ox. I just use a fan in the window. Nothing more complicated than that. I wouldn't recommend it. It doesn't work as well as I would hope, but it's better than nothing. Motor oil. Different motor oil. Can't reach in for any of this. There's a deadbolt on the other side.
Locked. I suppose I'll look elsewhere for now.
Aha!
Now, what's this then?
Windscreen replacement. 5 Rowan Road, Manchester. Signed something or other. Well, I can't take a picture of it. Doesn't seem to be important. Northwest Freight Company. Okay, well, I can't interact with this pipe beyond what I've already interacted with. Beyond the dialogue that I got. There's a hammer here. I can't use that. There's a brush here. I can't take that. I can't take a picture of it. There's some sort of blue paint substance on it, but it doesn't appear to be important. I could turn the water on, but I doubt that's important. Right, well, we opened the windows. We've got a garage door here. Well, geez. There was the key we saw. Let's see. Harold Levy attacked Tony Morgan earlier today. The threatening note proves Harold was willing to hurt him. Theo McKee. Harold doesn't pay Theo much money, but also doesn't charge him rent. How is Theo making his money? Got a new stamp. Yay. The note accused Harold Levy of being a liar. I need to find out what was left in his office. Get into Harold Levy's office.
The note left in the box confirmed that there was something damning left in Harold Levy's office.
I wish I could see the pictures that I took in my last episode, because one of them, there was another key. It was like hanging beside a door or something. But I can't go that way. Can't go that way. Can I go back into the apartment? I remember the key we saw was hanging over a door somewhere. I mean, we got the key there already. Like up here, somewhere over here. But that's just going to bring me back out. And my movement is so limited. I can't move very far in this particular scene. Can't move at all there. We read all of that. She's still taking a shower. We can't put the antenna back. Oh, maybe it has something to do with out here. Maybe it was on the back of one of these doors? Nope, can't interact with it. Maybe it was behind this one? Nope, can't close that either. That's the shower. Shouldn't knock on that. And there's nothing under the bed. Right. I mean, the earring, but we can't take it. I was thinking maybe we could use that as a lockpick, but no, we can't take it. So out we go. Let's explore this again. And we got all three of these notes. 1, 2, 3. Oh. We can see the window that we opened. I wonder if it matters. Did we open those windows? Well, even so, I don't see anything out of place. Yeah, those must have been the windows that we opened. Okay, well. Okay, that's locked. But there's no key to pick. So even if we had something to pick with... There's a sliding door in the garage opposite Levy's office, says Chris Tidwell. Oh. Sliding door opposite... This one? This garage door? Yeah, but I can't interact with it. There's his office. Over there. And there's the garage door across the way, but I can't interact with it. Yeah, that one, see? The water's still on. Oh, you meant over here, maybe? Yeah, I can't interact with it either. Or you meant up the ramp. So across from the office. Oh. Oh my God. What is this? Just a random couch? Motor magazine.
Hello? Yeah, I'm on it. He's coming here. No, I'll sort it out. No, all right, fine. Bollocks.
He's left the office door open, but now I'm stuck in here. Theo was fixing this car this morning. It's the one he put the rug into. Is she still inside?
Cigarette machine. Great. Hey.
What in God's name? Why is there a hole in the ground and a chain going into it? Charlotte, are you down there?
Harold works for someone called Frank and seems to be on edge around him. There's a large basement space and Levy's garage, the perfect place to hide a body. And Shane's. And a ladder going down. Okay. Well, let's go explore Levy's office before he comes back.
Oh, just what I need.
Oh no! I'm locked in! Crap. Right. I think that's it for here.
Well, this is definitely the car that Theo dumped the rug into. Charlotte, please don't be inside.
Signed in 115, 22nd of June 1954. Worked on by T. McKee. Signed out, not Chet. Vehicle make KP. Vehicle model Valiant. Registration number HDN8. 1 times replacement windscreen wiper set. 2 times replacement front tires. 1 times replacement front bumper. 1 replacement 18-volt car battery spare left in boot as requested. A spare left in the boot? 1 light bulb, 1 full valet including boot and upholstery, wax and polish service. We did our best, but the car looks like it could do with a repaint. We can offer a range of colors. Oil change, labor 6 hours, checks made out to W. Levy and Sons. Mr. Chatterton, we're very sorry that the car was in for longer than expected, but we had to wait on an oil delivery. Okay. So that would explain him going out with Frank.
Must have been in a bad way.
Radio Weekly. FM 96, local news, Shakespeare in the Park, live from Turing, the culinary flavors of the Orient, the secret life of beetles, a time for questions with Sir Alan Jefferson, shipping forecast, daily news recap, station end. FM 105, sports and weather, sounds of the 30s and 40s. Okay, so we need to go through this and match it with the time that he was on the radio. Hey, car key. Unread notepad entries on Theo. Theo has repaired the car that I saw him put the rolled up rug into.
I wouldn't trust you as far as I could throw you.
4526.
Now, what's this then?
I have a code that could be useful for something. 4526. I got to get it down. But that's going to be loud. Jump lead.
Now what do we have here?
Oh, what? There we go. Car lift.
These all seem to be powered from here.
New objective. Find a way to restore power to the shutters. Note, if the shutters aren't working, check the basement. The fuse seems to be playing up.
So the fuse for the shutters is blown in the basement. Good to know. Ah! Oh, dear God. I must be doing something right.
Car battery. Huh. Looks like I need to find a different battery. That's a broken battery. Well, there was one in the back. Okay, let's go check it out.
Charlotte, please don't be in there.
Battery. New car battery.
This might come in handy.
All right, she wasn't in there, and I can't close it. They're going to really easily tell that someone has been all over their garage. There we go. Basement lift. And that's where I'm going to get the fuse that I need in order to open the shutters. But we haven't explored back here just yet. Buy new, buy British. Gears of the future.
Must be doing something with oils here.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Charlotte May.
Siphoning oils. Another tap, because of course. Let's check the engine, if we can. We can't. Whoa. That is a flooded
Explains
basement.
the damp smell. The water's far too deep to wade through.
Mains, office, shutters, basement, reception.
Fuse is blown.
I gotta find a new fuse. 25 volts. Okay. 25 volts. Motor oil. Oh no. Oh no, he's coming back. Oh, I don't like this.
I'm going to need to hurry.
Oh, I don't like this. Ah! 10 volts. I need 25 volts. Unread notepad entries. I need to get the basement lift working again. Levy's basement is flooded. Could Charlotte may be down there? Ah! No? Aha! 25 volts. $10 volts. Wiper blade.
If Catherine were here, she'd probably try to wade through it. If Catherine were here, she'd probably arrest me.
Right. 25 volts. What? Oh, that must be the blown one. There we go. Okay.
Right. Time to open those shutters and get back to the office. Mr. Levy. Hello.
Okay, open the shutters and get back to the office. Do I have it? Yeah, all 3 lights are on. Okay. What shutters? I mean, I see there's a garage door here. I'm assuming that's what I need to open. But I don't see a button to it. Can I close this? No. Maybe I need to push a button on the fuse box. Yeah, shutter is powered. It's all powered. Garage doors must have a lever somewhere, says Sadaway. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I remember seeing one in a previous room, but we can't get to that room because the door is closed. And no, I can't interact with any of the chains. I can't remove that now. There it is.
Good. Now to get back to the office.
Okay, that's what I had to do. I mean, I am opening a lot of things. I am messing up his garage completely. I hope he doesn't notice. Okay.
The threat in the box said there was something in this office. Perhaps something for my evidence board.
RP Motor Group Award to William Levy for excellence in customer care. Purchase log. Stock book. It's blank.
bits and bobs.
Tire iron. Anything else? Pliers, wire cutters.
Handy.
Take the wire cutters, just in case. Oil. A window. Okay. Okay.
Police search. Sorted.
Police are going to search, sort it.
Poker nights.
Poker nights on every
I've seen
Tuesday.
These dates before. Food, nothing interesting.
The car that Theo was working on, Frank calling.
Must be the phone call I overheard.
Jacking oil prices.
Jacking oil prices. Must be hurting business.
So perhaps the poker night has something to do with the radio? Because it's the evening on every single Tuesday. Telephone directory.
That's a cliche.
That man's a cliche, he said.
Old files, perhaps.
Hey. Mr. Levy, I say this with great concern and disdain. You have run this garage into the ground. If William were still alive to see what you've done with the place, he would see you reprimanded without hesitation. The work carried out on my vehicle was second rate at best. All you have to do is take one look at that chap under your employ, and you have some notion of how badly it's all gone wrong. I'm afraid I can no longer be a customer of such a shoddy and disreputable workshop. Shame on you, sir. Is this true, or is this dude racist? I don't know. Which is it?
Chap under your employ. I don't have to guess what he means by that.
Yeah.
They're both as bad as each other.
Ah.
Could be useful.
Take wire. Photograph. Liar. That's the evidence.
Not what I was expecting. I'm sure Harold knows why this is so damning. Did Tony Morgan take this? Is that why Harold attacked him?
We have an angle. So find out where the camera, find out what angle this was shot from, and we know who took it.
Petrol.
We can take it. Okay. Handy that there's a lift right here. Wonder if there's anything over here first. No, dead end. No. Okay, we've got a great...
Harold's basement is far more vast than I thought.
He's got a labyrinth.
You down there?
A labyrinth under the shop. And some sort of pipe or tube. Draining something or aerating something? Oh God, not this again. This is such an awful minigame. Nope, nope, nope. Finally. No. No. Oh, and it starts us all the way down there. Don't touch the sides. Feel like I'm playing a game of Operation. Alright, we get there. Nope, we gotta go here. And there we go. Hold G. Find the next one. Hold O. Whoop. There we go. And the last one. I'm running out of finger. Here we go. Oh. Oh, that's a dead end. That's a dead end. No, I can go this way. It's narrow. That's a narrow one. Gotta go down. On the left. There we go. And around. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, almost got me. And what button do I gotta press? M. Ah. Okay. Harold Levy. Hey. 4526. No. Four, 5, 2, 6. No. 4, 5, 2, 6. 4, 5, 2, 6. Do I got to push a button? The code must not be for this. It's crap. Possible evidence found. John, Sarge is assigning me to the Crow's Nest to help with the searches, so you're going to be on your own in here getting this pump working. Watch out for Mr. Levy. He's been snooping around a little too closely for my liking. I'm still not entirely convinced that the basement flooding was accidental, if you know what I mean. Oh, and if by any chance my father comes over while you're there, could you please kindly turn him away and not tell the others about it? Thanks, Catherine. Chris Tidwell says everyone is so wheelchair friendly in this game. Yeah, that's a help. This is interesting. Because does Mr. Levy not own this shop? We got the impression that somebody else owned it before him. So could this have been written before Mr. Levy took over the shop? And if so, how long
There's more to the basement than meets the eye.
How long has the basement been flooded?
May.
Catherine thinks Harold is hiding something from the police in the basement.
The pump is set to clear the basement of water.
Get the water pump working and unflood the basement.
Oh, this hose needs connecting.
Okay. Okay. Right, I guess I'm missing something. I'm making a lot of noise. I've turned on car lifts. I've turned on basement lifts. I've opened garage doors. I've turned on generators. Now I'm going to turn on a fuel pump, and no one is alerted to this? All right, I think I may be missing a part because this is not clasping. So perhaps there's something I still need to find.
Takes gasoline. Seems to go down to the basement.
Okay. Ooh, hello, hello. What have we there? Yeah!
That was not supposed to happen.
And yet, maybe it was supposed to happen.
What's this? I wonder if I can knock it down.
It's going the wrong way. Breaking bottles. We're just
Well,
making a
I'm
mess.
too close to stop now.
204 something. That's the combination. There's a note right there. There we go. Possible evidence found, Mr. Levy. Due to a suspicious call from one of your neighbors, we are obliged to search your garage premises in regards to the disappearance of Charlotte May Morgan. You are not under arrest, and we will endeavor not to disrupt your business. The search will begin first thing tomorrow morning. Please cooperate with our investigation, Officer John Thatcher, Riverport Police Department. Well, well, well.
It doesn't look like they have much to go on.
Right. 2 0 4 8. There it is. The attachment.
Now, what's this?
Clasp. Siphon to water pump. He's got oil everywhere. Just every nook and cranny has oil in it.
It's working. And quickly, too. Damn if it's not loud.
Return
Charlotte,
to the basement.
if you're down there, I will find you.
Return to the basement and search for signs of Charlotte May. Roland Palacios says, hey, Ox, are we ever going to get another Starfield live stream? There's a lot more new canon content and even mod support now. Maybe. Nothing planned right now, but maybe. Right, I want to check that box that we knocked over. Where is it? There.
Now I wonder how Mr. Levy would explain all this. It's nothing to do with Charlotte May.
But well, well, well. Certainly something to use if necessary. The box of money and number plates was hidden far out of reach in a toilet roll box. They clearly weren't meant to be found. Okay. Yep. There we go. Yep. All right. Almost there. There we go. Flooding gone. What will we find?
It's worked. Why on earth would Harold have flooded this? Charlotte May. Charlotte, are you down there? What on earth is all this?
Rations? Cigarettes.
Cigarettes?
He's been hoarding cigarettes, but he got them all wet. No good now. The ones on the bottom are all wet. That's it? Just cigarettes? Magnum-sized, cork-tipped. And Roland says you can even have your own buggy that you can drive around on planets. Yeah, I heard that's pretty cool.
Charlotte, can you hear me?
Perhaps I'll get back to it someday. Yeah, I mean, I'm not lowering myself down, am I?
Yeah, it's heavy. Dear God.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's her. It has to be. I'm too late.
Wow, they just they're kind of playing it really heavy with that. Like we know we're not going to find her till the end of the game, right? So we know this isn't her. We knew it wasn't her in the last case either. But they're really playing it heavy. Good job, you found her. She fit in a toolbox. Game over. Nope. Oh, what do you know? It's not a body. It's chemicals.
Chemicals?
Engine
I don't
lubricant.
understand. Why?
I mean, it's probably because of the war. I mean, they still had ration cards. I'm sure a lot of this stuff was destined for military purposes, and he had a business to run, so he's hoarding things like cigarettes that's really hard for people to get, and oil and gasoline. And whatever this is. Gasoline emulsification agent.
Did Harold Levy drug Charlotte May? There was a rag found at the crime scene. Is this what was on it? There's no way he would flood his own basement unless he was scared of the police searching it. I need my evidence board. This is far too damning to ignore.
But we got to get out of here without being seen, and that's the thing. If it's anything like the last case, they're going to throw a QTE at me, some sort of quick time event that I'm going to have to react to instinctually. God forbid it's going to be like a key I've got to pick. Okay. Here we go. So, we've got to push the button, which is really loud. And we can't go there. As soon as we open that door, he's going to be standing there. He's going to be standing there. And we're done. We've been made. Run for it.
So, you're gonna tell me what you're doing in my garage? Or am I gonna have to evict you too?
Mr. Levy, I was just about to...
Save it. What were you doing in there? Did you find what you were looking for, did you?
Actually, I was looking for you. As soon as I realized you were at home, I came straight out to find you.
Ah!
You can rest assured.
What is it you want, Mr. Conway?
Well, I wanted to talk with you about Charlotte May's disappearance.
Really?
If you're not too troubled to help.
Why the hell would I waste my time talking to you?
Will you answer some of my questions or not?
So it's an interrogation, then?
It's me asking you to help Tony Morgan find his missing daughter. Surely you want to help.
Fine. I'll humor you. What do you want?
A statement is all. Where you were the night that Charlotte May was taken. What you were doing, with whom you spoke. That kind of thing.
A statement, you say? Where do you want me to begin?
Tell me, if you would, what you did between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. just before Charlotte May was taken.
Well, I was in my flat for most of the night, except for about 10 o'clock. I went across to the courtyard and locked up the front gate. And, you know, to keep the wrong kind of person out. Sometime after that, I heard a noise. Sounded like something strange, but I didn't know what. I guess we all know now, but didn't think much of it at the time.
So I'm still struggling to understand the significance of this interrogation point. I learned the first time I did this that I only have one chance to ask one thing. I don't get to ask the other three, or the other two. So I need to figure out which one of these is going to be most pertinent. The thing is, I would love to hear what the noise was. I would love to learn what the noise was that he heard, but clearly it has to do with the disappearance of Charlotte May. It may be interesting to find out whether or not he was expecting the wrong kind of person. I think I'm going to go with noise.
You're sure you heard a noise at 10 p.m., no later?
Little later, maybe. I was up in my flat by then.
How much later?
Couldn't say.
And what do you think the noise was?
Well, we know what it was, Mr. Conway. A little girl screaming.
You actually heard her scream?
Maybe. Why? Are you trying to catch me out?
I'm trying to understand what you're telling me. I myself did not hear her, and neither did the McKees.
What's your point?
Well, either you heard her and did nothing, or you're mistaken.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
You were saying?
Anyway, after about 10 or something, I went up to my flat and made a cup of tea and a sandwich. Corned beef and onion, if I remember. Then about 10:15, I ate it. I hope this is the kind of information you were looking for. I was alone all night, so didn't do anything riveting, I'm sorry to say.
Well, we know he had a woman, but was she with him that night? Let's find out.
You were alone all night, so no one can back up your story.
No, guess not.
Do you ever have guests, Mr. Levy?
No, not really.
Never.
Where are you going with this?
Well, there's a key on the plant pot outside your door. You must have put it there for someone.
And how did you find that out?
Well, you can see it from the outside. It's plain as day.
I said I was alone that night. You don't believe me?
I'm merely trying to make sense of it all.
Seems simple enough to me, Mr. Conway. Shall I continue, or was there more?
Please.
Anyway, around about 10:30, I was sat upstairs listening to my radio show. Kings in the Nile. I had no idea what was going on outside.
10:30.
Right under everyone's noses. Scary, ain't it? How you could be stood right next to someone capable of that. And you'd never know until it was too late.
He said he was listening to Kings of the Nile at 10:30. We've got the list of radio broadcasts, so we can cross-check that to see whether or not Kings of the Nile was playing at 10:30 to catch him in another in another lie. Let's have him tell us more about that. Sat upstairs?
In which room were you sat?
In my kitchen, I think. Why?
Your radio is in your bedroom, is it not?
Yeah. How do you know that?
So, you were listening to a radio show playing in a different room?
You didn't answer me. How do you know where my radio is?
I heard it playing from your window across the courtyard a few days ago. I have a good memory, is all. So you are in your kitchen and your bedroom?
What does it matter?
Well, if you can't remember which room you were in, then how can I take the rest of your statements seriously?
You can take it however you want.
I'll just write that you're unsure.
Yeah, you do that. I wish there was more I could tell you. I really do. Must have been about 10:40 to 10:50. I nodded off for a bit, because my mind's a little fuzzy on the details. The newspaper said something about the kidnapper having a key or sneaking in undetected. I think it's a load of old bollocks. And in any case, if I ever did see someone sneaking around here, they wouldn't be walking out, I can tell you. No offense.
No offense. God, this guy. Why does he think it's a load of bollocks?
You don't think there's any truth to the newspaper report?
I don't think there's any reason to keep harping on about that little girl, newspaper or not.
And why would you think that? Don't you have faith that we'll find Charlotte May?
Faith? Good one.
You don't sound convinced that she's going to be found. Is there something you know that you might share with me?
Look, I ain't doubting that you're a hotshot detective.
Private investigator.
Whatever. But that little girl is long gone by now. All you're doing is rolling about the place asking rude questions and rubbing people up the wrong way.
Is that what you think I'm doing?
People need to get into their heads. She ain't getting found anytime soon. We all need to move on and deal with the other problems in our lives. You wanted the truth, didn't you?
No, you're absolutely right. Ask and you shall receive.
Well then.
Please, as you were saying.
Regardless of all that, I'll tell you what I did here that night. The smash. About 11, I'd say. That little girl must have kicked up a right old fuss. God knows how we didn't hear. That's when I turned on my floodlight. I looked out my window. I saw Mr. Morgan. Right there, laying in a puddle of his own blood. It's a wonder he didn't bleed out. I must have just missed who did it. I tell you, that blood ain't coming out my clothes anytime soon.
He got blood on his clothes. Because he ran down to help Mr. Morgan. And yet, earlier in the day, he punched Mr. Morgan or went into his house and accosted him. Heard a smash. Let's see what he says about that.
You're sure it was Charlotte May who caused the smash?
Who else would it have been?
And you're sure it was at 11?
About then, yeah.
It's a long time after the first noise at 10, wouldn't you say? Almost an hour by your account.
Yeah, I suppose.
Doesn't it seem a little strange to you?
All of this is strange to me, Mr. Conway. This is Dahlia View. Things like this don't happen here.
Until now.
Until now. Other than that, I don't know what more I can say. We all get what's coming to us, don't we? Anyhow, what if it was me? What are you going to do about it?
Well, for a start, I would have...
Interview's over.
Maybe I did do it. Hell, maybe you did it. You could be wasting time questioning me to cover your own back. That would be a funny old turn, wouldn't it?
I have to say, Mr. Levy, we've not spoken this much before, and I find you strangely heartless considering the circumstances. I'd imagined you'd feel a little more sympathy for your neighbor and his missing daughter. You say you had nothing to do with it, but I can't help but think.
Go on.
I think you're hiding something. Something to do with Charlotte May. And when this is all said and done, Mr. Morgan will know who helped and who stood in the way of my investigation. I hope to God you had nothing to do with it.
Listen to me. You think you got problems now being in that chair. You keep this kind of thing up, and you're gonna end up hurt. Or worse.
Is that a threat, Mr. Levy?
A warning's what it is.
Well, consider me warned.
It's late, Mr. Conway. Piss off.
Right. Can't wait to get to my evidence board. We've got some data to connect.
During our conversation, Harold Levy was imposing, attempting to intimidate me. It's clear the man does not like me, and the feeling is mutual. I'm certain he's up to no good, and I suspect it has something to do with Charlotte May. The chemicals I found appear to match the crime scene, no question there. There are, however, some things that still remain unanswered.
I don't know. The problem is that every single chemical we found fits in a repair shop. Engine emulsifier, motor oil. There wasn't a chemical there that was out of place for a motor shop. Which makes me wonder, is his gruff exterior a red herring?
A threatening note in Harold Levy's flat seemed to provoke his attack on Tony Morgan. Is this related to Charlotte May? The note accused Harold of illegal activities, but what evidence here proves it?
Can I prove Harold is doing something illegal? And here's the evidence we collected. Shipment of parts. He lost his temper with his girlfriend. His radio is stuck on a channel. If you see me and Frank, keep your distance. God, this is so small. Replacement front tires on the house. Mr. Chatterton's car was in for longer. Why? Here's the threatening note. I know what you've been doing. In blacktop taxi, 7:15 p.m. Out, blue road car with top bit removed, 12:41 a.m. He's flipping stolen cars. Brown van, 9:31 p.m. In. Out, yellow van with wood panel, 11:52 a.m. Sunday, green motorcycle with sidecar. Out, green motorcycle, no sidecar. He's flipping vehicles, stolen vehicles. That's his business. Okay, let's transfer that. What other evidence do we have that he's flipping vehicles? The picture. Let's transfer that. Money, cigarettes, blue mist, lipstick. There's the radio. At 10:30, he was listening to Kings of the Nile, which doesn't start until 10:50. 105 FM, Kings of the Nile, starts at 10:50. That's 20 minutes after he said he was listening to Kings of the Nile. Is it on any other station? No. Okay. And what day is that? The 22nd of June. June. Stuck on that channel. What channel is it stuck on? FM 97. Oh, FM 96. It's stuck on FM 96, which means he couldn't have been listening to Kings of the Nile. FM 96 doesn't have Kings of the Nile. At 10:30, nothing was playing. The next program that starts at 10:30 on the station the radio was stuck to is The Secret Life of Beatles. He's lying about what he was doing on the night of June 22nd. Okay. Well, can I prove he's doing something illegal? Yes. Let's pin this to green motorcycle, brown van, yellow van, black top, blue road car. Brown van, yellow van, green motorcycle, black top, blue road car? Brown van, yellow van with wood panel, blue. So we're looking for a blue road car or a yellow van. I mean, we've got a yellow truck, but we don't have a blue road car, and we don't have a green motorcycle. We do, however, have a license plate, ML56B. We've got a lot of them. ML52K and KE43L. Do those license plates show up anywhere else? Local crimes listing stolen vehicles. Vehicles missing or presumed stolen. A 3-wheeler Yellow Sparrow Carnival. 10 BW Ladybird hatchback, brown KP double runner van, sky blue Hilton Prestige caravan, brown van. Let's transfer that. Brown van. There it is. Connect evidence to the brown van turned into a yellow van. Connect evidence to the brown missing van. But we don't see a van. We don't see a brown van. What color was the van? It was yellow. They painted it yellow. Yellow van with wood panels. And we don't see a yellow van with wood panels. Unless they call a van something else. Van can equal a truck too, says Amanda Peterson. Really? Well, wood panels on the truck, yellow truck. So, if van means truck, review theory.
Good, I was right.
Solved.
Now, on to the next.
He's flipping stolen cars.
Harold said he was listening to Kings of the Nile in his flat at 10:50, whilst Charlotte May was being taken. But can I disprove his alibi?
Oh, he did say 10:50. Well, it's the wrong radio station, and we figured that one out already. Okay, so we've got the radio. Let's move that over. Let's move that over. I don't think we need that. Stuck on that channel. That's the one we need. Let's move that over. So we don't need any of those other pieces, but we do need each of these. Where's the other piece? Oh. There it is. So, can I prove that he wasn't listening to that channel? Yeah, because it's stuck on that channel. What channel is it stuck to? It's stuck to FM 96, and King of the Nile only plays on FM 105. Review theory.
So, Harold lied to me about his alibi. There was no way he could have been listening to Kings of the Nile on his broken radio. The stolen cars are worrying indeed, but don't seem to be related to Charlotte May. The chloroform-like chemical I found is my only real lead. He must have hidden those bottles for a reason. Ultimately, this is all conjecture. I can't prove he's taken Charlotte May.
All right, I'm coming. In a minute.
Dad,
In a minute.
why's the door locked? Can you let me in, please? I want to talk to you about something.
Sorry. Give me a moment.
Dad, I'm waiting. Why was the bolt on?
Well, what with everything, one can't be too careful.
Fair enough.
What did you want to talk about?
I've just come back from having a very interesting conversation with your landlord.
Harold Levy, really?
What do you suppose he wanted to talk to me about?
Well, actually, Catherine, I I wanted to talk to you about that.
So he was telling the truth. You know, he was so close to pressing charges, and it's not my job to talk him out of it. I could have been arresting you right now, or any one of my colleagues, whom I can assure you would not be as nice as me about it.
Why? He seemed fine after I spoke to him.
You trespassed and damaged his property, and don't try to talk your way out of it.
Well, what do you want me to say?
I don't know, to be honest.
Why do you think he didn't press charges? The reason he didn't want the police searching in the first place was because he was hiding what basically amounts to chloroform. The same thing he used to drug Charlotte May. He had a gallon of the stuff.
I know.
Well, so why don't you arrest him?
It's a completely different brand.
Well, have you checked his orders? He might have switched recently.
I have.
Then why does he have chloroform in the first place?
He uses it to dilute oils. It's a side scam to rip off his customers. You would have known that if you were working on the case, but you're not.
Well, diluting goods is illegal too, surely. Arrest him for that, and you can interrogate him.
And all he'd get is a fine. And that would be the end of it.
I'm sorry, but...
You're not an investigator anymore, Dad.
No mention
I know
of the
you
stolen
want to help,
cars?
But trust me, you're not. In fact, you're making my job that much harder.
Catherine, I was merely trying
You
to...
made me a promise. From now on, I just want you to honor it.
Tell her about the promise you made to the
I
dad.
can't.
Why not?
There you go.
I promised Tony Morgan that I would help find Charlotte May.
Of course you did.
Thankfully, Harold Levy didn't press charges against me. He probably didn't want the police searching any more than they had to. It confirms my suspicion that Harold is up to no good, but I can't convince Catherine to investigate further. Am I wasting my time watching my neighbors? Mrs. Doer is old and frail. Is she even capable of such a thing as attacking a man and taking his child? I made Mr. Morgan an impossible promise, but if I stopped now, it was all for nothing.
Doer Manor.
So this is the police's base of operations. By the sounds of it, they've forgotten all about Charlotte May. Her poster is already in the gutter. Am I the only one looking for Charlotte May? There's a light on downstairs. Mrs. Doer is still awake. And here I am, spying on an elderly lady.
Creepy. Creepy, dude.
Mrs. Doer's home once looked out onto a field of dahlia flowers. Her husband built the manor house with shipping company money. Now it's surrounded by all of this. There's that board game.
That picture is creeping me out. Ah!
Now this is interesting.
Children's toys in a
What is
box.
she doing under there?
Something under the floorboard.
It looks like she's hiding something.
A hand mirror.
But what is it? Well, that floorboard is my first port of call.
A baby rattle. And a teddy bear. I don't think they're Charlotte's. I think Charlotte was a bit too old for them. Perhaps it was for a child. That she never had but wanted, maybe? Man, nobody draws the drapes in their houses. I don't understand living in a place like this. And not having... Ooh. You're... Is that a cat? Did you hear that? Okay, I'm still missing a photo. Oh, there's a furnace in the basement.
What could she be doing in the basement? And how did she get down there? This is getting stranger by the minute. We
heard a cat. And then a thud. And then the furnace turned on. Is she cremating a cat in the basement? What the heck? Police? Okay, where's the flashing light coming from? Must have been a cop driving by.
I'd give anything to know what's in that box. Maybe it has something to do with what was hidden under the floorboard. That's my second port of call. Now she seems to be doing something. Dear God, that's not her at all. Mrs. Doe is in danger.
Is that not her?
Unless they're working together.
Or maybe she put a raincoat on.
I need to get a photograph of the intruder. Dear God, I've got you red-handed. You there! Stop what you're doing at once! I said stop! You won't get away with this.
Okay. Back in the flat, observations. I observed a few suspicious things from my window. I need to investigate them further. What's under the floorboards? Find the box that the intruder was using near the upstairs window. Mrs. Doer looks old and frail. Getting around her home must be a struggle. Well, it definitely wasn't the Mrs. Doer who was moving around at that speed. Right, how am I doing on time? I've got about 40 minutes left, but that's not enough time to solve the case. And I know that if I try solving it now, I'm going to forget where I was and what I was doing next week. So tell you what, let's go over there. Let's get inside, and then we'll start our investigation next week.
Whomever I saw leave Mrs. Doe's home left in a hurry. Let's hope they don't return. Now, to break in without being caught. I hope to God Mrs. Doe has gone to bed. Smashed glass. I'd better be careful.
Whoever it was had a key. No. A tension wrench. Oh. Really?
Could be useful.
It was easy.
Hello, Mrs. Doe.
Do not get caught, Robert.
What a place. Gotcha. Right, I'll have to end it here. Because if this one is as long as the last one was, it'll take at least 2 hours to complete, which I don't have, and I don't want to split it up like that. So we'll pick up right here where we leave off next week. Same Ox time, same Ox channel. Thanks everybody for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Amanda Peterson says, have a great weekend, everyone. Scotch and Smoke Rings has been something I've looked forward to in these last 2 months. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda Peterson, for coming each and every week. I do appreciate it. We'll continue with the story next week and see exactly what sort of strange guilt we'll find in this old woman's home. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon with more lore videos and more live streams. Bye-bye now.